another part of the story, another shirt. Button that up. They'll too sexy for you. So, look at the first story of the wedding pictures first before you listen to this. So, that was concluded in December of 2003. And my sister, my brother in law, my dad, and I just didn't mention the wedding pictures. My uncle was very happy. He had his pictures. But years and years started going by. 2004 went by, 2005 went by, 2006 went by, and I was really concerned because I had told my stepmom that if these wedding pictures didn't get to my uncle before he died, that our relationship would never recover. And it just boggled my mind that I had not heard anything about it, that she didn't bring it up or left it completely alone. And so I made arrangements for that Christmas of 2006, 3 years after we found them, and what's that? 7 years, gosh, 7 years after they had arrived in her possession, decided that I was feeling kind of bad about the whole thing. I really hadn't intended for them to sit there. So I called my sister and my older sister and said, I think I'm going to get our parents' wedding pictures and get some nice frames for them and put them together and give them to them as a Christmas present because I feel bad about the whole thing. Now, this really presented something pretty tricky for me. Number one, we went through my stepmother's stuff, which she hates, of course. And the second part is that we had kind of not told her about it for 3 years, but what were we gonna do? And she was gonna be upset and probably sad, but decided I was going to do it anyway. Um, my stepmom had gotten sick from a severe asthma attack or something like that. She had been put on oxygen because of the house, I'm sure. That's she was convinced, but that's another story. Um, so my father and I were going to visit his family on Christmas far away, and so the pictures and the frames were wrapped up, and I went to my stepmother and said, um, I don't really know how you'll react to these, so I want you to open these when I'm not here, but I really hope you like them, and I love you. So I left, went to visit my dad's family, and came back. And when I came back, I was talking to my little sister. She'd come up and I said, "So how'd it go?" And my little sister was almost 14 at that point. And I said, "So how'd it go?" She says, "Well, David, first she looked at she opened them and she saw the pictures and they're nice and pretty in the frames. And first she looked like she was like kind of upset and agitated. And then she looked like she was mad. And she thinks that you did that just to throw it in her face and to make her feel guilty, which I guess is partially true. But she says, and then she said real soft, she looked upset and she says, I really should send those pictures out. She says, David, she doesn't know that the pictures are hers. Now, this isn't what I intended at all. So I went downstairs, and like I said, 2006 was I was really trying to make peace and try to be real cool, not get any arguments, be very loving, compassionate. And so I went downstairs and I said, Stepmom, I'm really sorry that they were taken this way. Those are your pictures. About 3 years ago, we decided that we needed to find them, and we went to where we thought that they were, and we found them, and we sent the pictures to my uncle, and I thought that you would find them shortly after, and when you didn't, I started to feel bad, so I thought that this was a way to tell you that, this part of a conflict between us is over and done. And I said, it's going to take me a little while to get past this, but, in 6 months, I'll be fine, and it'll be water under the bridge, and I just, want to let you know that I didn't mean to upset you or to, try to, make you feel bad about it. And she says, well, it's I knew where they were. They were, and I said, no, no, don't tell me that. Please don't tell me that you knew where they were. She says, yeah. I mean, they're right there on the corner of the computer table, right there, about halfway down. And I was just absolutely in shock because I figured that they were lost. The problem was that she had to go through a whole bunch of things and find them. But she pointed to the exact place where we found them. Now, I really wasn't able to fully control myself because I was just really taken aback by the whole thing. And I said, I'm sorry, I just can't believe that you knew where they were. I mean, you know how much it meant to me, and I can't believe that you knew where they were the whole time. And I just kind of sat just looking down, shaking my head. And about an hour later, she had left, and she came back in. And she says, David, she says, I'm really sorry that I didn't send those pictures off. I don't know what it was, but it's just um, the house the way it is, and just so depressed about things. And I want to let you know that I'm really sorry. Now, I guess I'm a little concerned when I go home in just a few days now for the sole purpose of fixing some things in the house. Uh, I guess the wedding pictures. I'm afraid that the wedding pictures are going to be in the exact same spot they were when they were unwrapped, when they could be hung up. But then again, I guess that's not really my business. I did what I was going to do. Ugh, we're figured out.